Welcome back, everyone, to a brand new explainer. Okay, today we are unpacking a truly terrifying mystery that starts the way so many great horror stories do, with a deal that is just way too good to be true. Imagine this. You've got four friends, they're super tight on cash, just desperately searching for a place to live in the city. And then they stumble into what seems like the absolute perfect rental room. I mean, it's spacious, it's insanely cheap, and it's available right this second. But, as we are about to see, this incredible bargain, yeah, it's actually a carefully laid trap that plunges them headfirst into a deadly supernatural plot. Let's break down exactly how this chilling story unfolds. Okay, let's dive into this. And honestly, you gotta ask yourself, how much would you actually risk for cheap rent? Our four friends find this massive room for a mere $20,000. So divided among them, that's just $5,000 apiece. For city living, that is an absolute steal. They are so thrilled by the price tag that they completely brush past the gross, dirty walls and just the generally creepy vibe of the place. I mean, they're just happy to have a roof over their heads without going totally broke, right? But you really have to wonder, what's the hidden cost of a massive discount like that? Section 1, the perfect deal and the midnight rules. When the guys first move in, everything seems completely normal, almost boring actually, until they get a very unexpected visitor. Right in the middle of a totally normal, everyday argument over household chores, this mysterious old man, a baba, just wanders right into their room. And he delivers this chilling warning. He looks at them and says, "If you have a weak heart, leave. They will make your life hell." He basically tells them they need to pack up and get out immediately, claiming the room is cursed by spirits from literally 500 years ago. He warns them that if they stay, death is waiting for them. It's this incredibly unsettling moment that completely flips the script from a goofy roommate comedy into a full-blown terrifying supernatural thriller. But literally right after this, the landlord, a guy named Sharendra, shows up, and he just casually brushes off the old man's warning, calling him crazy and telling the guys to just ignore him entirely. But then, Sharendra lays down some highly suspicious rules. He tells them absolutely under no circumstances are they to open the door at night. If there's a knock, ignore it. If there's a voice, ignore it. Just do not open the door. He claims it's just to keep thieves out, but come on. Given the old man's creepy warning just moments prior, these rules sound a heck of a lot more like a survival guide for a haunting. Section 2, the imposter among them. As the sun goes down, those midnight knocks actually begin. People are outside begging to come in, really testing the friends' willpower. And the psychological pressure just keeps mounting, leading to a massive, terrifying twist involving one of the roommates, Danu. And this brilliantly illustrates a horrific realization that another roommate, Bittu, makes. See, Bittu sneaks out, does a little investigating, and comes back armed with a holy book, the Hanuman Chalisa. He walks up to Dunu with it, and the Dunu standing right there in the room violently recoils. I mean, he is absolutely terrified of the secret text. Why? Well, because as Bittu reveals, he literally just got off the phone with the real Dunu. The real Dunu never even made it to the apartment. He was stuck at a railway station miles away, waiting for a passenger train that doesn't even exist. Meaning, the entity standing right in front of them, wearing their friend's face, it's an imposter. It is literally a ghost hiding in plain sight. But wait, there is another massive fake-out we need to talk about. Remember that old man, the Baba, who warned them about a 500-year-old curse? Well, actually, scratch that whole story, because it was completely fabricated. The old man deliberately fed the friends a fake 500-year-old ghost story. Now, why on earth would he do that? Because he knew the imposter ghost was standing right there among them, listening to every single word. By feeding them a false history, the Baba successfully distracted the spirit. He kept it totally confused and prevented it from realizing that the humans were actually onto its tricks. It was a brilliant, highly calculated move just to buy the guys some precious time to survive. Section 3, the real dark history. So if the whole 500-year-old curse thing was a total lie, what is the actual deeply disturbing truth here? Well, the real truth starts with a brutal betrayal. This house originally belonged to Surendra's uncle, a man named Cirilal. Driven by just absolute sheer greed for the property and the wealth, Surendra orchestrated the cold-blooded murder of Cirilal and his entire family. Surendra covered the whole thing up and quietly moved right into the stolen home. But as you might guess, the dead didn't exactly stay quiet. Almost immediately, these vengeful hauntings began, absolutely terrifying Surendra. So, desperate to save his own skin from the supernatural wrath of the very family he slaughtered, Surrender did the unthinkable. He actually summoned their spirits and made a dark supernatural pact. Section 4, the soul deal explained, which brings us back to the rent. Why were the friends offered the room for so cheap? Because, guys, they weren't tenants, they were currency. So the crucial point is this specific definition right here, Ruk Kasalda, which loosely translates to the soul deal. In order to stop his murdered uncle's spirit from killing him, the landlord, Shurendra, promised to deliver fresh victims to the house. The deal was this. Shurendra had to sacrifice a specific number of innocent souls to the vengeful spirit. In return, the spirit of his uncle, Suralal, would gain ultimate power, becoming this dark messiah of souls, and most importantly for Shurendra, it would spare his life. And the magic, deadly number required to fulfill this horrific contract? It's exactly 11. Shurendra has to lure 11 people into this cursed room to be slaughtered by the spirits of the family he murdered. If he hits that quota, he walks away completely free with the property. Now, the extreme danger our main characters are in becomes terrifyingly clear. Over the last 2 years, Shurendra has successfully lured and sacrificed 8 unsuspecting renters. Think about that. 8 people have walked through those doors thinking they got a great deal on rent and never walked out. That leaves just 3 souls remaining to complete the contract. And wouldn't you know it, our remaining friends, after the real Dunu got stuck at the train station, number exactly 3. They are the final targets meant to complete this terrifying soul deal. But this brings up a massive, massive question. How did the spirit manage to infiltrate their group so flawlessly disguised as Dunu? Well, the answer connects the lore perfectly back to that imposter twist we talked about earlier. See, because of the local rumors, Shurendra was having a near impossible time finding anyone willing to rent the room. But then he saw Dunu. And in a totally sick twist of fate, Dunu's face was an exact match to the face of Surilal's murdered son. This uncanny resemblance is exactly what allowed the vengeful spirit of the son to easily slip into Dunu's identity, effortlessly tricking the rest of the guys. Section 5. Surviving until dawn. With the terrible truth finally out, the game of cat and mouse is over. It becomes a desperate, terrifying race against a ticking clock. Fortunately, the Baba returns with a final, incredibly high-stakes survival plan, and it boils down to 4 steps. First, the friends must sit tight inside a magical protective circle, no matter what. Second, they literally have to drag the murderous landlord, Shurendra, into the circle with them, offering him up so the spirit of his uncle can finally get its rightful revenge and be liberated. Third, and honestly this sounds like the hardest part, they must completely ignore whatever terrifying tricks, illusions, or psychological torture the ghosts throw at them. And finally, step 4, they just have to wait out the final hour until the sun rises, which will banish the entities for good. But as the Baba firmly warns them, that final hour right before dawn, that is when these dark entities are at their absolute strongest, and they will do literally anything to pull the friends out of that circle. The psychological warfare is going to be off the charts, so I leave you with this final thought to ponder from the source material. The sun isn't up yet. Under the immense, terrifying pressure of a vengeful, shape-shifting spirit, will they actually have the willpower to stay in the circle, or will they become the final 3 souls in the Ruk Hasauda? Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you in the next one.